Gravy the Gray Elephant. Once upon a time, there was a gray elephant. His name was Gravy. His mommy and daddy were gray, his brothers and sisters were gray, and all his friends were gray. One day, as the herd was walking across the desert, Gravy looked around and realized they were all gray. He thought that was boring, and he wanted to be different. He didn't need to look far before he saw all the brown dust they were walking on. He scooped up a trunkful of dust and blew it all over himself. He smiled because now he was brown. A big gust of wind came then and whooshed all the brown dust right off his back. Poor Gravy was gray again. He wasn't giving up, though. As they continued their trek across the desert, Gravy's herd passed a large lake. The beautiful blue water shimmered in the sun, and he thought if he jumped in, he could turn blue. Alas, all he turned was wet. When he came up out of the water, his gray was a shade darker than everyone else's gray. But then another gust of wind came and lightened him up again. Gravy still wasn't going to give up. He was a little disappointed, but if he kept looking and kept trying, he knew he could change his skin color. Day after day, the herd traveled. They passed cacti, more lakes, and more cacti. After a week of trudging through dust, the herd passed a sweet-smelling gathering of flowers. Now, these were not ordinary flowers. These flowers were bright red. They were as big as plates. Gravy knew they were off limits to eat, but the more clumps of flowers they passed, the more that red looked like it might do the trick. Gravy slowly made his way to the back of the herd. If he wanted to eat any red flowers, he had to make sure no one saw him, because everyone knew they weren't supposed to eat them. Once he was sure no one was watching him, he gobbled up lots of flowers. He started to get full, but thought he should probably eat a little bit more, just to make sure he ate enough red to change his entire body. An elephant, even a little one, had a lot of skin. When he couldn't eat one more petal, Gravy ambled back toward his spot near his mother. The minutes ticked by. He started to feel funny. His ears wouldn't flap like before. His trunk wouldn't raise like before. Suddenly, he couldn't take another step. He flopped onto the ground, causing his mother to come running. She gave him a strange look, and Gravy thought maybe he was finally changing color. "Gravy, did you eat any red flowers?" his mother asked him. She sounded suspicious and looked at him sideways. "Hi, Mama. Am I turning red?" "Oh," Gravy groaned. "I don't feel very well." And with that, Gravy coughed, and all the red flowers he had eaten came rushing up and spilled out onto the ground. Mother Elephant shook her big head. "You aren't red, you are green. Those red flowers make elephants very sick, and when you're sick, you turn green. Rest here for a few minutes, and you should feel better soon." Mother's eyes were sad, and Gravy felt ashamed of himself. He had disobeyed his mother because he had wanted to change his skin color. He changed his skin color all right, but it sure wasn't what he expected or wanted. "Mama," Gravy said, "I'm sorry for disobeying you. Next time I think about doing something wrong, I will remember this and obey. Please forgive me." Mother Elephant wrapped her trunk around her baby. "I forgive you, and I'm so glad you learned your lesson. I love you, son." As Gravy sat there cuddled next to his mother, he thought maybe it was a good thing his skin was gray. He didn't get too hot in the sun with the dust and water, and he was never too cold either, since the sun was always so hot. From now on, he'd be content with the way God made him, because God never makes mistakes with important things like what color your skin is.